Hey guys, this is Joshua Meeks with the PNW Real Estate team at Keller Williams Realty, and you are watching the July monthly market update for the Pacific Northwest. Is the market changing? It's a question that you hear all the time right now in the Pierce-King County area, and the answer is yes, the market is changing. Largely the question is right now, is this a annual cycle change or is this a seasonal cycle change? Is this something that's specific to the months between June and August? We see inventory increase, we see buyers start to diminish and fall off for the school year, or is this more of a seasonal or cyclical change in that every real estate cycle is around 7 to 8 years, and once that cycle kind of happens or caps out, you start to see the market adjust a little bit. And it's an article that you're seeing trending a little bit more often in the Pacific Northwest right now. What we're seeing this month in the Northwest Multiple Listing Service is that the homes that are for sale or available have increased from 11,439 homes to 13,834 homes. Now that's a big jump, a lot more homes available, and that's some pressure that sellers are starting to feel. That's a little bit more than it was last month or even this time last year. What you'll see that this time last year in June, there were 13,340 homes available. Comparing that to this month, this year, 13,800. What we're seeing is that every year there's a little bit more homes available and a little bit more room for buyers like yourself to come in and actually get an offer accepted, which is great news. What that means for us as listing agents is that we're gonna have to start working a little bit harder to actually get these listings sold, right? That means that we can't just put up a sign in the yard and put it on the MLS and just know that because it's a seller's market that we're going to see the activity that we want and the offers that we want. We're seeing buyers have the opportunity to get a little bit more picky. The reason why is because the homes that are under contract are slightly less. We'll see that the homes that are under contract right now this month are 8,775, down from 8,947. So it's very seasonal, but it's also very cyclical for an annual cycle that around this time inventory is increasing and the homes that are under contract or sold are starting to decrease. That's what happens around the July-August market. People are settling in for the school year. Now the next stat that we're going to look at is average price per square foot. Good news, average price per square foot last month went up from 263 to 266. Now I might be wrong here, but I think next year we're going to see that average price per square foot decrease a little bit more than we saw it decrease between the months of April and May. We're seeing a lot more price reductions than we have seen historically over the last few months or few years. I know agents, listing agents and sellers, we're accustomed to saying, hey, this is what the market's doing. Let's maybe try another 2 to 3% higher because it's an aggressive seller's market. Now we're seeing people not only price in that sweet spot, which is actually what the house is worth, but starting to price 2 to 3% lower than the market to make sure that we're getting the attraction, the attention that we need in order to get that listing sold, compounded with really good aggressive marketing on behalf of your sellers. So price per square foot, we saw a little bump this month, but I think it's probably going to drop down marginally. Next month, we'll see what happens there. Months of inventory on this market. Now, just to recap what months of inventory typically means, it's the amount of homes that are available based off of the current demand within the market. It's the ratio that says how much demand do we have, how much availability of homes do we have. Then this is what we can expect these homes to last if no more homes come on the market. Now, anything that's less than 3 months of inventory is typically going to be a seller's market. Anything that's between 3 to 6 months of inventory is a neutral market, and anything that's above 6 months of inventory is typically going to be a buyer's market. Now, we've seen for the first time in a few years, we've seen from 1.2 to 1.3 to 1.4, now up to 1.6 months of inventory in this market. So we are seeing a steady increase of homes available with a marginal decrease of demand for those homes. Now keep in mind, anything less than 3 months is still a seller's market, so that's great news for you as a seller. Problem is that as listing agents and as sellers, we've gotten accustomed to you put your home on the market and within 2 or 3 days it's sold. That's not happening as common anymore. And while it's still a seller's market, it's not quite the same seller's market that we have been experiencing. So that being said, inventory is increasing. Listing agents, make sure that you're actually pricing your home right. Sellers, make sure that you're having conversations with your listing agent about how to make sure that you're pricing ahead of any potential marginal shift in the market. Now I know when we say the word shift, everybody starts going into panic about 2007 to 2008. Trust me when I say there's a lot of things that are significantly different about this market today than they were around the 2005-2006 shift. The biggest of being what we saw during that time was a huge amount of homes available. And while those homes were largely available by the tens of thousands, we had up to 7, 8, 9 months of inventory, people were still increasing prices, approving people that weren't qualified, and the demand was actually decreasing. Now, what makes this market different from that market significantly is that we have dramatically less homes available than we had during that time. Builders, homeowners, sellers, economists, we're all a lot more cautious this time around, watching to make sure that while it's a great seller's market, that is incredibly sustainable where we're currently at. Hope that's helpful for you as you are watching the market, either as a listing agent, a buyer's agent, a buyer, a seller, a managing broker, whatever position that you might be in. And we look forward to seeing you next month on August PNW Real Estate Monthly Market Update.